For Louis Vuitton, once the canvas gets cracked, then it's pretty hard to repair. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, guys. Thank you so much. As we wear our bags, as time goes by, things can happen, right? And I wanted to talk about the worst things that can ever happen to your bag. And some of you guys I know love the wrecked look, like the worn out bag look. It's been very fashionable to trash your bag last year, like Mary-Kate Ashley Olsen, and I've noticed a lot of designer brands doing the distressed look on purpose, like Miu Miu, and perhaps even like that Balenciaga rodeo bag that's all slouchy and like messed up. But I wanted to talk about, you know, the worst things that can happen to your bag that may happen if you don't know how to look after your handbag, or if you're just purposely neglectful, or yeah, you get stuck in a certain situation. So first thing is scuffs and scratches on the leather and the hardware. Now, scuffs and scratches to me are just going to come with wearing the bag. The more you wear a bag, the more it's going to get worn out. And there are some bags that wear a lot better than others. For me, I found that Hermes leather does definitely scuff, and it can, you know, particularly in the corners and that, you notice like on Birkins, you'll tend to see the first signs of wear on the corners and perhaps scratches on the hardware. This comes with the nature of wearing your bag, really. So they're things that I wouldn't worry about too much. And scuffs and scratches can kind of be fixed pretty easily as well. Color transfer is something that I think a lot of people don't have enough knowledge about when they get into handbags. I know that like white, cream, and like light pink are very cutesy colors, but there's certain colors that you have to be a little bit more careful with if you mind getting color transfer. With dark clothing, particularly if it's not color fixed, once it rubs on your clothes, it can definitely transfer onto the bag. And I know a lot of people just think that because a bag is expensive, it's not going to get color transfer, but that is not the case. So I mean, I've worked in different stores over the, you know, last 10 years or so of my life selling bags, and there's so many people who have this issue of the color transfer because they love beige, they love white, and they come back to me like the next week and they complain that they got color transfer and that it's a defect of the bag. But color transfer, it's not got nothing to do with the handbag, guys. It's got to do with the clothes that you're wearing. So for example, if you wear a red linen jumpsuit with a white Chanel bag, that could get color transfer of red all over the white Chanel bag. Just be mindful of that and educate yourself about color transfer before you get a light colored bag. You have to be careful with light colors. The only most carefree color is black, because if you do get color transfer on black, you will not notice the color transfer, basically. Water damage. Water damage can really ruin a bag. So for example, when I was in Japan, I found a gorgeous red Birkin 25 that had a weird slouching and like crumpling to the leather, and it was in Swift leather. Now my guess is that this bag got drenched in water and it made the bag like deformed, basically. So water can really impact on leather. And all leather bags, you shouldn't really drench it in water in the rain. There are some bags that are a little bit more resilient to water than others, for sure. Like if something has more of a coated finish on the top or more of a hearty grain, then water might not be the worst thing. I have taken some of my Hermes bags when it was raining. They've got a little bit wet and they've dried and been okay. But rain is something I wouldn't necessarily advised to mix with designer bags most of the time. It's just not great for the leather, and it can really even create staining on the leather. Like for example, Vachetta leather, when it gets really wet, you can get watermarks, and some leathers are the same. Like once you get water on it, it doesn't really look the same. Not looking after the inside of your bag, you know, you see a lot of bags on the pre-love market with pen marks and lipstick, and just people just leave all the disgusting glitter and crap all over the bag. And this is where I would say it's smart to use pouches or some sort of bag insert within your bag. So if you do want to sell your bag on, the interior is preserved. I bought a few bags in the past where the inside has marks, and it hasn't bothered me too much, but I have seen many bags that pre-loved are completely ruined on the inside because someone was just neglectful and just chucked all their makeup in the bag or food and all sorts of things. Yeah, I would say looking after the inside of your bag is important in retaining its value if you do want to sell it on in the future. Smell is probably one of the worst things that can happen to your bags. If you are somebody who has mothballs, you like to use mothballs in your wardrobe, that smell is very hard to get out of a handbag. I've come across bags on the pre-love market that have this very strong mothball smell, and I find it very unappealing. There's also cigarettes. If you're a smoker, your cigarette habit can also impact on your handbag, and you know, this is fine if you are not going to sell your bags on in the future, but if you plan to sell your bag on, the cigarette smell will greatly impact the bag. All sorts of smells, perfume smells. There are things you can buy to fix smell, like charcoal packs and bicarb soda and all that, but there are some smells that are very, very hard to get rid of, and yeah, it's one of the worst things that you can have with your bag is a stinky bag, in my opinion. The absolute worst thing though is mold. Mold not only makes a bag stink, it is not really good for your health, and once your bag goes moldy, it's really, you need to chuck it. Like, I'm sorry guys, I know there's people who have got rid of mold on bags. If it's just like a few little white like dots or something, you can kind of get rid of that. Bags are like growing mold inside. Yeah, I don't know, it's either you've kept your bag in a condition in your wardrobe that is like too damp, maybe you're in like a very humid climate, and it's manifested mold, and this can spread not only to your other bags, but I don't think it's very good for your health to be breathing in this stinky mold, let alone try and sell on your stinky moldy bag. Moths, so if you have moths in your wardrobe, this can not only eat your cashmere, your wool, all that. If you have bags that are made of fabric like jersey or, you know, maybe a tweed or something, moths can eat this and you can get little holes in your bag, and yeah, this is not a good thing. I know that people do use mothballs, which can make your bag smell like mothballs as well, but there are other things I think you can put in your wardrobe to stop moths, and all in all, it's best to have your bags maybe in a closed wardrobe or left in a dust bag. It's going to be a little bit more safe than I tend to have my bags out on my shelf, and I don't think moths are going to eat my bags because they're leather. But if I had more of like, yeah, like a jersey bag or something, you do have to be a little bit careful about moths. And it's very common with cashmere as well. If you look in your wardrobe and your cashmere coat has a few holes in it, it could be a moth. So yes, moths love cashmere. The snagging and tears. So again, if you have like a beaded bag or a tweed bag, something like that, they can tear, beads can fall off. Satin is also really bad, they can snag. These more evening bags you have to be a little bit more careful with, and they're not going to wear as well as a leather bag. Basically, you have to be a little bit more careful with fabric bags. If it's a nylon, if it's like a coated canvas, it's a little bit different. That's going to be a little bit better than a tweed or a jersey bag or a satin bag or something like that. Satin is probably the most high maintenance. Like, it can stain, getting water on it is not good, snagging, and there's no way you can even repair it. If you've broken the zipper or you've broken the buckle or the handle's fallen off or it's got a big hole in it, yeah, there are some things that when you overuse your bag or if you completely trash it, these things can happen, and that can completely ruin the value, particularly if your zipper is broken. You can get these things fixed, so you can replace the zipper, you can replace hardware, that sort of thing. I know that for Louis Vuitton, once the canvas gets cracked, then it's pretty hard to repair because it's leather. You can kind of patch it up a little bit if it gets a crack and you can keep working with it. But when the fabric gets torn or canvas gets cracked, it's very hard to salvage it, and Louis Vuitton themselves will not fix a bag with cracked canvas. So that can be a death of the bag if there's like major issues with the canvas, and you've got like a broken zipper or something, then yeah, that's pretty bad as well. If you overstuff your bag, so you try and squeeze like, a whole hairbrush and a makeup pouch and the whole kitchen sink in like a Chanel mini and it gets all saggy. And you know, I've seen people overstretch their wallet on chains and they get to the point where they've completely lost the integrity of the structure of the bag. This can greatly impact the value of the bag if you wish to sell it on in the future, if you've overstuffed your bag. Honestly guys, if you need a lot of room in your bag, just get a bigger bag. Don't try and make a micro bag a small bag, because it's gonna ruin the bag basically. It can really affect like the whole structure of the bag. It can pop stitches. There's a lot of bad things that can happen if you overstuff your bag. Not storing your bag properly, so maybe not stuffing your bag enough, like when bags completely sag in on themselves and maybe you've stored your bag in a condition that is too hot, so that maybe it's going to go moldy. Maybe it's patent leather and the conditions are too hot, so it's going to discolor, it's going to go sticky, all that. So you have to make sure like where you live, the temperature is going to be okay for the bag. And you have to store them in a way that they are not going to get impacted by where they are. So for example, if you're storing your bag near a sunny window, that could discolor the bag. That could make the color of the bag fade over time. If you are storing your bag in a condition where it can get condensation or it's too dry even, that could make the leather crack, it can make the canvas crack. You just have to monitor how your bags are looking. If your leather is looking really dried out, then maybe you need to add some leather conditioner to the bag. Think about like what is affecting it and what is making this bag deteriorate, because how you store your bag will impact on how it deteriorates over time, because everything over time ages and changes. And what I've noticed is like in some conditions, like if it's very damp, this can make the hardware tarnish faster, and it can also affect the leather over time. And yeah, some bags will not really take to certain conditions and they'll deteriorate faster. For example, patent leather is one of those materials that you can just keep it on your shelf and it will just deteriorate over time, or go sticky and it will just discolor, and it's just a bit of a nightmare. It just happened from it being on the shelf, right? So there are things that can happen to your bags even when they're just sitting on the shelf, just from it deteriorating over time, which is like annoying to think about. But that is also why you should take your bags out, get them a bit of fresh air, get them to breathe, get them to get a bit of sun, but not too much. But it's good to use your bag and rotate your bag a little bit, and just don't keep it in a box under your bed or something, because actually keeping your bag in a box is also not good for your bag, because it means that it can't breathe, and that can also cause things like mold, and it can deteriorate fast like that as well. So I would keep your bags, like the best way to keep your bags is in a dust bag on your shelf so it can breathe but it's still protected, and then rotate your bags regularly. Obviously if you wear your bag endlessly for a whole year, it's gonna wear out, which is why it's kind of, your bag will last longer if you rotate it with another bag over the year. You can kind of get more longevity from your bags. But also it depends on what the bag is. If it's like a very delicate Chanel bag, then yeah, you can't wear that every day really. Same with like a Fendi baguette with sequin, you can't wear that every day. The sequins are gonna fall off. It's just because it's a delicate bag. Something in like a very thick grained leather, yeah, you could probably wear that quite a bit and it's going to be able to take a lot. Of course with Louis Vuitton as well, I've noticed like glazing melting. I've also noticed it on Hermes. Eventually over time the glazing wears out, but this is not a huge issue. It can be fixed and they can touch up the glazing. Let me know guys, has anything ever happened to your bag that you found devastating? And then yeah, because I think there's these things that happen to bags, a lot of them are inevitable, like scuffs and scratches and that, something you can't really help if you actually wear your bags. And over time, bags will age as time goes by, and that's something you can't really help anyway. So that's why you should wear your bags, but just be mindful of these things if you want to get longevity from your bags, I guess. So anyways, thanks for watching my video today. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Bye!